Good day, everyone. Good day, sir. I am Michael S. Kuan, and I will be discussing with you about the assignments or the answers of our assignment in engineering economic, assignment number one. So let's start. So, number one, what is the annual rate of interest if 265 pesos is earned in 4 months on an investment of 15,000 pesos? So, we will be using the interest rate formula since we are required to get the interest rate of this one. So, interest rate is equal to interest over principal times the number of interest period. So, our principal here is 15,000, our interest is 265, and our n, or the interest period, or the number of interest period, is 4 months, so it will be reduced to one third, and you will just substitute it, or substitute the given to the formula like this, and you will be arriving at 0.0053 times 100 for you to get the percentage of this one. So interest rate will be 53%. Number two, a loan of 2,000 is made for a period of 13 months from January 1 to January 31. The following year, at a simple interest of 20%, what is the future amount if due at the end of the loan period? So we will be using the future amount formula since we are required to get the future amount. So future amount formula is F is equal to P times 1 plus interest rate times the number of interest period. Okay, so our principal is 2,000 based on the given, and our interest rate is 20%, and it will be in a decimal form, so it will be 0.20, and times the number of interest period, 13 months, so 13 months over 12 months, so 13 over 12, and you will also just substitute it to the formula, and you will be arriving at these answers. So your future amount is will be 2,433.33. Number three, if you borrow money from your friend with simple interest of 12%, find the present worth of 20,000 pesos, which is due at the end of 9 months. So we will be using the future amount formula in finding the present worth or the capital. So F is equal to P plus out times the quantity of 1 plus IN rather. And the future amount is given, which is 20,000, is equal to P, which is what is asked in this problem, times the quantity of 1 plus 12% interest rate, or 0.12, and the number of interest period is 9 months, so 9 over 12, because 9 months over the month of the year is 12 months. You can reduce this one also, the 9 over 12, to 3/4. So you can use shift solve in solving this, or you can manually solve this one, but I prefer to use shift solve because it is much easier for me. So I will be arriving at 18,348.62385 pesos in this one. So number four, determine the exact simple interest on 5,000 for the period from January 15 to November 28, 1992, if the interest, or the rate of interest is 22%. So we will be using the exact simple interest formula, which is P times I times N. So our P, or our principal here, is 5,000 pesos based on the given, and our N is from January 15 to November 28, 1992. And take note that 1992 is a leap year, and for you to determine if that a year is a leap year or not, you will be dividing that year, or that specific year, to 4, and if the answer is not in decimal form, then that specific year is a leap year. So you could use counting method in solving the n. So January 15, you will exclude January 15. So you will start counting at January 16 until how many days it will take for you to arrive at November 28, 1992, while you also exclude November 28, and that day will you will be arriving at 318 days and divided by 366 years, since 1992 is a leap year. So your P is also, you have to substitute those given into your formula. So exact simple interest is equal to PIN or PNI. So 5,000 times 318 over 366, which is the N, which I have said to you before, and I, or interest rate, is 22%, and it will be in decimal form, so it will be 0.22, and multiply that all together, and you will be arriving at your answer, which is 955 pesos point 75 centavos. So number 5, a man wishes his son to receive 200,000 pesos 10, 10 years from now. What amount should he invest if it will earn interest of 10% compounded annually during the first 5 years and 12% compounded quarterly during the first 5 years? So we will be using the formula of the present worth, or no, the present worth formula in determining capital. So first, since there are two interest and two number of interest period, you have to compute first the initial principal of the first 5 years with 10% interest, and then use that value to solve for the initial capital, or the capital that we are finding, or we could um, call this as the additional principal. So we will be calculating this one. So f is equal to p times the quantity of 1 plus I to the power of negative n, and our p2 is equal to f times 1 plus I to the power of negative n, where our f here is 200,000 pesos. It is our future value, plus the times the quantity of 1 plus the interest is 12% compounded annually, so 12 divided by 4 is 3%, so it will be 0.03%. And our n is 5 years, and it is compounded annually, so 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So substitute that to the formula, 200,000 times 1 plus 0.3 to the power of negative 20, we will be arriving at 110,735.15. So that is our P2. And next, we will be computing for the final payment, or the additional principal. So P1 is equal to P2 times 1 plus I to the power of negative n. So our P2 is what we get here, so 110,735.15 pesos. And so we will be multiplying that with 1 plus the second interest, which is the 10% interest compounded annually. So it will be yearly. So just multiply the number of years, or the n, with 1, and will be just remaining the number of years. So 1 plus 10% point 10 times the power of negative 5, which is our number of years, 5 years, and you will be arriving at the number 68,757.82 pesos, and that is our final answer. So number 6, by the condition of a will, the sum of 25,000 is left to be held in trust by your guardian until it amounts to 45,000 pesos. When will the girl receive the money if the fund is invested at 8% compounded quarterly? So we will be using the formula of future worth. So F is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus N plus I, rather, to the power of N. So we'll be just identifying the given in the problem and substitute it to the formula. So 45,000 pesos, our F is equal to 25,000 pesos, which is our P, times the quantity of 1 plus the interest, 8% compounded quarterly, so 8 divided by 4 So 2% or 0.02, and time or to the power of n, which is what we are looking for here, times it is compounded quarterly, so n times 4. And you will just have to substitute those values to the formula, and you can use shift solve here. I am using shift solve in this particular form of given, or the what is asked. If what we are looking for looks like this, I always use shift solve because it is very convenient. And if you use shift solve, you'll be arriving at this number, so 7.42 years, and that is our final answer. Number 7. At a certain interest rate compounded semi-annually, 5,000 pesos will amount to 20,000 pesos after 10 years. What is the amount at the end of 15 years? So we have two equations here. So at n is 10, so 10 years. Our f is uh 20 20,000 pesos. It is after 10 years. And what is asked is, what is the amount after 15 years? So given our P, our principal is 5,000 pesos, our N1 is 10, our F1 is 20,000. So solve for the interest using F1, N1, and P1. So 20,000 is equal to 5,000 times the quantity of 1 plus I over 2 times 2, or to the power of 2 times 10. So use shift solve dire. So I, or the interest rate, is 14.35, and in decimal it is 0.1435. So you have the I already. Then use it to solve for the F2. So in F2, our N is 15 years, and our solution would be F2 is equal to 5,000 with the principal times 1 plus our I, 0.1435 over 2, times the power, or to the power of 2 times 15 years. And you will be arriving at 39,973.74 pesos. And that is your final answer. Number 8, Jones Corporation borrowed 9,000 pesos from Brown Corporation on January 1, 1978, and 12,000 pesos on January 1, 1980. Jones Corporation made a partial payment of 7,000 pesos on January 1, 1981. It was agreed that the balance of the loan would be amortized by two payments of January 1, 1982, and the other of January 1, 1983, the second being 50% larger than the first. If the interest rate is 12%, what is the amount of each payment? So, slowly deciphering the problem. First, look for the future amount of two borrowed amount, which is the 9,000 and the 12,000. So future amount 9,000 times 1 plus I. Our I is 0.12 times the power of 5, and our 12,001 plus same interest, so 12.12, and our N is 3. So this would be your partial loop here, and equals, still use the future amount formula on the partial payment, which is 7,000 here, and then the amount of each payment that will be letting as X. So our X here is the amount of each payment. So 7,000, yeah, 7,000 pesos times 1 plus the interest is 0.12 times the power of 2 plus X, which is our amount of each payment, times the quantity of 1 plus our interest, 0.12 times the power of 2 plus 3 over 2x. So again, I am using shift solve in this kind of problems. So you can use shift solve in this, and you will be arriving at 3 over 2x is equal to 9,100, no, 3 over 2x is equal to 30,705.77, and so for x in this one, so you will be arriving at 13,705.77 pesos. Number 9, A woman borrowed 3,000 pesos to be paid after 1.5 years with the interest at 12% compounded semi-annually, and 5,000 pesos to be paid after 3 years at 12% compounded monthly. So, what single payment must she pay after 3.5 years at an interest rate of 16% compounded quarterly to settle the two obligations? So we could use the formula of the future amount formula. So we have three principles on here, three interest rate and three frequency of interest. So the formula would be F3 is equal to F1 plus F2, and you will be arriving at the F3 which we are looking for. So we have the given. So P1 is 3,000, N1 is 1.5 year, then P2 is 5,000, year 5,000, then N is 3, N2 is 3, and I1 is 12%, so 0.12. Then same with the I2 is 0.12, yeah, point F2, so uh, where is it? Yeah, 0.12, and I2 is 2% today, so 0.2. And so we'll be substituting that. So F1 is equal to 3,000 times 1 plus 0.12 over 2 to the power of 2 times 1.5 years. So our F1 will be 3,573.05. And our F2 is, our principal in F2 is 5,000. So 5,000 times the quantity of 1 plus zero point 0.2 over 2 to the power of 2 times 3. So F2 is 7,153.84. So our F3 would be F1 is equal to F2. So F1, our F1 is 357, our F1 here, 357.05 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.16 to the over 4 to the power of 4, because it is compounded annually, times the quantity of 3.5 years minus 1.5 years, plus our F2 is 7,153.84 times the quantity of 1 to plus 0.6 over 4 and to the power of 4 times 3.5 minus 1.5, because it is compounded annually. And you can simplify this one, and you will be arriving at F3 is equal to 4,889.96 plus 7,737.59, and you just have to add, sum up this two, and you will be arriving at your F3, which is 12,627.55 pesos, and that is your final answer. Number 10, Mr. J. De La Cruz borrowed money from the bank. He received from the bank 1,342 pesos and promises to pay 1,500 at the end of 9 months. So determine the simple interest rate and the corresponding discount rate, or rotten or often referred to as the banker's discount. So we are asked to compute the corresponding discount and the interest rate. And corresponding discount formula is D is equal to discount over principal. And our discount here is 158, yeah, and over our principal 15, and so we'll be getting 0.1053 or 10.53%. So you just have to multiply this by 100 to get its percentage. And next is interest rate. So interest rate formula is D over 1 minus D, which where the D is our corresponding discount. So this is our D. So 0.1053 over 1 minus 0.053 is 0.1177 or 11.77%, and this would be our simple interest, and these two would be our final answer. Number 11, a man deposits 50,000 in a bank at 6% compounded monthly for 5 years. If the inflation rate is 6.5% per year continues for this period, will this effectively protect the purchasing power of the original principal? So we'll be using the the effective interest rate per interest period formula to get the I and then use it to compute for our original principal. So I is equal to R1 plus R over M to the power of M minus 1. So 1 plus 0.066% over 12 months times the power of 12 minus 1. So our I would be 0.061677 or 6.1677% here. So we'll be using this to calculate for the original principal. So F is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus I over 1 plus F times the power of N. So 50,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.061677 over 0.065 to the power of 5 will be arriving at 49,225 pesos. So yes, it is effective to protecting the purchasing power of the original principal. Number 12, what is the future worth of 600 pesos deposited at the end of every month for 4 years if the interest rate is 12% compounded quarterly? So we'll be using the future worth formula of annuity in this, but first we will have to find the I or the interest rate. So we'll be using this 1 plus I um, over 1 plus I to the power of 12 minus 1 is equal to 1 plus R over 4 to the power of 4 minus 1. And substitute the formula, 1 plus I to the power of 12 minus 1 equals 1 times plus our R is 12%, so it will be 0.12 over 4 to the power of 4 minus 1. So our I will be 0.0099 or 0.99%. So we will be using this in getting or finding the F or the future worth formula of annuity here. So F is equal to A, which is the 600 pesos, times the quantity of 1 plus 0.0099 to the power of 48, because N, 4, yeah, it is compounded quarterly at the end of every month, so it will be 4 times 12, so it would be, our N is 48. So to the power of 48 minus 1 over 0.0099. So our F is 36,641 pesos, and this is our future, or this is our future worth. Number 13, a young woman, 22 years old, has just graduated from college. She accepts a good job and desires to establish her own retirement fund. At the end of each year thereafter, she plans to deposit 2,000 pesos in a fund at 15,000 annual rate. How old will she be when the fund has an accumulated value of 1 million pesos? So we'll be using the future amount formula of annuity, where our F or the future amount is 1 million, our A is 2,000 times the quantity of 1 plus or 1.15, or this is 15% plus 1, so 1.15 to the power of n minus 1 over 1.15 minus 1. So substitute the value, we already substituted. 1 million is equal to 2,000 times the power of 1.15 n minus 1 over 1.15 minus 1. So yeah, again, use shift solve if you can, because it is easier and very convenient to, and it is less time consuming. And so our N here would be 31 years old. And take note that this woman who just graduated from college is 22 years old. So 22 plus 31 is equal to 53 years old. So she will be 53 years old at that time. Number 14. Mr. Reyes borrows 600,000 pesos at 12% compounded annually, agreeing to repay the loan in 15 equal payments. How much of the original principal is still unpaid after he has made the 8th payment? So we will be using the present worth of annuity formula to get the A. So 600,000 is equal to A times the quantity of 1 plus, or 1 minus quantity of 1 plus I. Our I here is 12%, so 0.12 to the power of our negative n, or the 15 equal payments over I 12.12. So our A here would be 88,094.54 pesos, and we'll be using this to solve for the unpaid amount. So at n is equal to 7, so eighth payment, so 8 minus 1, so it will be 7, so our n is 7. So P is equal to A, our A here is 88,000 here, 88,094 pesos and 54 centavos, times the quantity of 1 minus 1 plus the interest 12%, 0.12, and to the power of n, which is 7, so negative 7 over 0.12. So our P, or the amount that is still unpaid, is 402,042 pesos. So number 15, M purchased a small lot in a subdivision, paying 200,000 down and promising to pay 15,000 pesos every 3 months for the next 10 years. The seller figured interest at 12% compounded quarterly. So A, what was the cash price of the lot? So we should identify our given first. So our down payment is 200,000 plus our A is 15,000 times n, so 10 years and compounded quarterly, so 10 times 4 is 40, and interest is 12% compounded quarterly, so 12 divided by 4 is 3%, or 0.03. So substitute it to the formula, so 200,000 plus 15 times the quantity of 1 minus 1 plus 0.03 to the power of negative n, so 40 over 0.03. So our P, our cash price of the lot, is 546,722 pesos. So letter B, if M missed the first 12 payments, what must he pay at the time the 13th is due to bring him up to date? So F13 is what we are looking for here. So A is 15,000, still 15,000, plus times the quantity of 1 plus 0.03. Our I is 3%, so 0.03. And our N is 13, since it is 13th we are talking about here. So to the power of 13 minus 1 over 0.03, which is our I, or 3%. So our F13, the amount that he must pay at the time the 13th is due to bring him up to date, is 243,270 pesos. Letter C. After making 8 payments, M wishes to discharge his remaining indebtedness by a single payment at the time when the 9th regular payment was due. What must he pay in addition to the regular payment due? So we will be looking for P again here, 15,000, but our N would be the original N, which is 40, minus the 9th payment. 9th regular payment was due, so 40 minus 9 is 29. So substitute it to the formula, A, 1 minus 1 plus I to the power negative n over I. So it would be 15,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 1 plus 0.03 to the power of negative 29 over 0.03. So our P, or what he must pay in addition to the regular payment due, is 300,006 pesos. Letter D, if M missed the first 10 payment, what must he pay when the 11th payment is due to discharge his entire indebtedness? So we will be letting Q here, Q, we'll be letting Q as the amount that he must pay when the 11th payment is due to discharge his entire indebtedness. And Q here should be equals to P29 plus F11. So we should find the value of P29 and F11. So first P29. So P29 is the P at N is 29. So 15,000 times the quantity of 1 minus quantity of 1 plus 0.03 or 3% to the power of negative 29. So our P29 would be 192,000, right now 287,826.82 pesos. And F11, 15,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.03 to the power of 10 over zero point zero 0.03, so it would be 192,116.94, and you will just have to add these two result, or two result here you should add for you to find the Q, which is the amount he must pay when the 11 payment is due. So 287,826.82 plus 192,116.94 is equal to 497 point no 479,948 pesos. Number 16. A man approaches the ABC loan agency for 100,000 pesos to be paid in 24 monthly installments. The agency advertises an interest rate of 1.5% per month. They proceed to calculate the amount of his monthly payment in the following manner. So we have six solutions here. So we should find the the interest, and use it to calculate the total owed, and use the total owed to calculate the payment, then use the rate of interest of the loan to calculate for the peso that we will be using at the that we will be using to find the interest of the account, and then use the interest to find the effective rate. So I is equal to PIN. So our P is 101,500 times 0.015 times 24. So our I is 36,540. Then the total owed is 101,500 plus our I. So our total owed is 138,040 pesos. And our payment is 138,040 pesos divided by 24. So our payment is 5,751.67. So 100,000 divided by 5,751.67 is 17 pesos point 300 point 3863 centavos. So our so we will be using this value to calculate for the I here. The I here is the interest rate that we will be using to solve for the effective rate. So 17.3860 is equal to 1 minus quantity of 1 plus I to the power of negative 24 over I. So I is equal to 0.0276. So our effective rate would be um, quantity of 1 plus 0.0276 to the power of 12 minus 1 times 100, since it would be in a percentage manner, so you should include, or you should multiply it with 100. So our formula, or the effective rate, which is in percentage, would be 38.64%. Last number 17. A new office building was constructed 5 years ago by a consulting engineering firm. At the time, the firm obtained a bank loan for 10 million pesos with a 20% annual interest rate, compounded quarterly. The terms of the loan called for equal quarterly payments for a 10-year period with the right of prepayment anytime without penalty. So, A, what is the balance due on the original mortgage or the principal if all payments have been made through a full 5 years? So first, you just have to compute the uniform payment. So A, it could be 10 million pesos over 1 minus quantity of 1 plus 0.20 or 20% compounded annually. So divided by 4 to the power of negative 20 all over 0.20 divided by 4 compounded annually. So our A1 here would be 582,781.6116. So first, the first ask of the equation would be A, the remaining balance. So the remaining balance is P is equal to A1 or 582,781.6117 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.20 or the 20% of bar divided by 4 because it is compounded quarterly to the power of negative 20 over 0.20 divided by 4. So our remaining balance is 7,262. No, our remaining balance is 7,262,747 pesos and 20.029 centavos. And that is the remaining balance. And letter B, what will be the difference between the equal quarterly payment in the existing agreement and the revised proposal? So remaining balance at 5% service charge is equal to 762 7626884. So we'll be using this to solve for the A2. So A2 is equal to 7625884 all over quantity of 1 minus the quantity of 1 plus 0.24 over 4 compounded quarterly to the power of negative 80 over 0.24 over 4. So our A2 would be 461,919.1922, and the remaining balance would be A1 minus A2. So our remaining balance is 122,862 pesos, and that is our final answer. And that sums up my video presentation on the solution of our assignment number 1 on engineering economics. Once again, I am Micro S. Kuan, and may you have a good day, sir.